What's going on, everyone? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we have the 2020 Buick Encore GX. This GX is a little more premium than you're probably expecting, and for a small vehicle, it's a little bit surprising. Today I'm going to give you a full look at the exterior, the interior, the cargo space, and take it for a test drive and see if this is the right vehicle for you. Let's get started. As we take a look at the outside, Buick still has the regular Encore, but this Encore GX is a little bit wider and a little bit longer than that regular Encore. In trim levels, we start with the base preferred, the select, and then the Essence, which is what we have right here. And this one has several options on it, so it's going to be priced at over $33,000. Now, starting right up front to take a quick look, you're going to get LED headlights on just the top Essence trim. You'll get that LED daytime signature light, that daytime running light, that little curve around the headlight. That will be standard on every trim, but the full LEDs for the headlights will be only on the top Essence. And then you'll get a little bit of trim differentiation depending on the trim level, and that little bumper applique down at the bottom, depending on which trim level you get. We also have LED fog lights, and then there's where the little incandescent turn signal will be. Every single Encore GX is going to give you 18-inch wheels, and they fit this size of a vehicle pretty well, but the design and the gloss of the wheels is going to differ a little bit. So let me know what you think of these. The color of this Encore GX is the chili red metallic. I think it looks nice on here, and it fits this vehicle pretty well. It's kind of got a deep red color to it, and dimensionally, the Encore GX is 171 inches long, so it is still very compact, but it's 3 inches longer and 1.3 inches wider than the regular Encore. One thing to note is that there are no signals in the mirror, which is a little bit surprising to me at this price point, but these mirrors can actually reverse tilt on either side, but they're not automatic dimming or power folding, although they are heated. And one note is that even though you have a small crossover, you can still get these roof rails and get some crossbars, so you can carry some stuff up there available with this vehicle. You also have little chrome accents on the door handles for our top trim and some chrome up above. What do y'all think of the design of the Encore GX? Leave your thoughts down below. We also get LED taillights on the Essence trim. Kind of have that mirror design that looks pretty cool. I think they look good at night as well. Incandescent turn signal though. And then you get a little bit of chrome on the bumper with our Essence trim level, and that'll depend a little bit depending on which trim you get. Cargo area for the Encore GX is not too bad, and in fact we have an option on here. They don't come standard, none of the trims come standard with this hands-free liftgate, but you can get it for a $520 option on any trim level, and you just got to swipe your foot underneath. Now that we're back here, let me give you a closer look. So this cargo cover up here, this is standard on all trims, and you can remove it just by those strings hanging there. But take a look at this. I can fit a regular size stroller back here without much of a problem. There's not a lot of extra space, but still nice that you can do that. And there are a couple of tricks back here. First of all, you do get a little cargo light right over there, just a little incandescent bulb. You've got a larger little storage bin over there to separate some items, and there are a couple of tie downs, one on each side. But check this out. The load floor is kind of interesting. So it's in its low position. You can pull it out. Well, first of all, there is a spare tire standard under here and some extra little area for some cargo space. But you can pull this floor out. You've probably seen this in other vehicles too. And then you have a second notch. So you can have it in the low position or this upper position, which is what we have here. And in order to fold the seats down, you do have to come to the back seat, pull that, and then flip that headrest up, and then you're good to go. So with the seats folded and the floor in its upper position, that's a pretty flat load floor. So you could probably keep a pet back here if you want, or store some larger items, because you've got over 50 cubic feet as it sits right here. But there's one more little trick. And check this out. The front seat can also fold flat. So that's pretty cool. You can get some long items in here if you really need to. And then when you're all done, just swipe your foot up under there again, and it will close. Under the hood of the regular Encore, you get a 4-cylinder engine, but under the hood of the GX, you get two 3-cylinder options. The first and the base option on all front-wheel drive models that's going to come standard is a 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. And don't be fooled by the size of that, because it only gets 26 city and 30 highway for miles per gallon. But the next option that is optional on any trim level which we have on this one, is a 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. That's going to give you a decent output at 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. Miles per gallon will start at 30 city and get up to 32 highway. But in my mile per gallon test on my highway trip, I actually got about 37 miles per gallon. So that's a huge spread. So hopefully this is generally more efficient for you than what the EPA numbers say. Transmission-wise, all of them will have the CVT, except for the 1.3 liter with all-wheel drive will give you a 9-speed. We have front-wheel drive and we have the CVT, so I'll tell you how that drives in a little bit. Buick gives you the Smart Key standard with push-button start, and we have remote start standard on the top 2 trims and optional on the base model. So the way that theirs works is it's completely reliant on a button. This button locks it or unlocks it. There's no sensor back here, but then you're good to go. And on our model, it actually works on the back door too. So it's nice to have access to all 4 doors with the Smart Key. Hopping into the front seats is very easy. Those of you with mobility issues, it's just a nice, even slide right into the vehicle. The base preferred model will just give you your regular manual adjustable seats, but we have in our top 2 trims and optional on the base, heated 10-way power adjustable seats with lumbar support, and these seats look pretty nice. They're really not too bad in terms of comfort and bolstering. They're just a little bit bland and a little bit firm. Even though these seats are heated and they're actually perforated, they don't have ventilation. But this Essence trim takes things up a notch. We've got memory settings on our seat, and when you start the vehicle, you can have this on or off. You can have the seat actually move to your memory setting, which I think I just turned it off actually, but you can have the easy entry exit system to where the seat will move back or move up depending on you getting in or out. The Essence also gives you a power passenger seat. It just doesn't give you lumbar support, but it is power adjustable on the top trim. And a leather wrapped steering wheel is standard on every single trim, and it's manual tilt and telescoping, but it's got a pretty large range of motion for a vehicle of this size. And on our top Essence trim, it's also heated. Now as we hop inside, let's go ahead and start it up. Push button start right there. And I want to point a couple of things out right away. We have the Advanced Technology package, which is $1,800. And let me show you the features that you get. So with that, you get this surround vision camera, which is nice. There's a good clarity with it, and there's a lot of different angles and views that you can look at. So it's very nice, really easy to help you park. You also get this pop-up head-up display, so you can see the camera is focused on it right now. But it's just this little pop-up tray that goes right there, and you can turn that on or off. You also get adaptive cruise control in addition to regular cruise control, so you can still control all of that right here. If you're in adaptive cruise control, you just hold this button down and that'll take you to regular cruise control. And this accident looking icon, which is kind of goofy, is how you determine the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And the last thing with that technology package is navigation with our 8-inch screen. Another package that we have is the convenience package for $770. So first, you get rain sensing windshield wipers. That's actually a really nice feature. So you can put it in the auto setting, and the rain sensing wipers will automatically go when they sense liquid or rain on the windshield. The other thing that you probably caught a glimpse of was this. So that's actually a camera in action right now. You can still use it as a regular automatic dimming rearview mirror where you can see me, or you can turn that and you can have a crystal clear camera behind you, and you can adjust the brightness, the zoom in and out. You can move it up and down as well. So it's actually really handy and gives you great visibility out the back. The other thing is down here, you have a wireless charging mat right there where all of my junk is. So that's optional. And then we also get the automatic parking assist, which is this button right here. So it can help you parallel and perpendicular park. So I just put it in gear, and you can push that button and it's going to search for a spot for you on either side for parallel or perpendicular parking, like I said. I wanted to go through those features first because those are in specific packages, and this vehicle is pretty much loaded up, and those are some pretty neat features. But starting over here on the door, we have our memory settings right over there. You have a soft material on the armrest, although it's not really all that padded, but a little bit. Then you have a softer material up above if you like to rest your arm. Good sized bottle holder, mine fits in there just fine. A little bit of extra storage. And then you can open up your lift gate and you can control whether it opens all the way or just 3/4 of the way. As for the windows, only the front driver window is fully one touch up and down. The others are one touch down. Right next to the steering wheel, you'll see your controls for the head-up display. That's how you can control the information and turn it off and on. And then our steering wheel is leather wrapped, and it's fairly comfortable to hold on to, and it's also heated. Heated button is right here. And then your audio controls are on the back of it. My only complaint with the steering wheel is that these are kind of a hard, cheapy, plasticky, clicky type. So very small complaint, but very easy to use. Right in front of us, you have a couple of regular analog gauges. And then in the middle, you have a digital display. Using your steering wheel, you can control what you see on here. You can actually kind of dictate all the information that's available on here as well. But there's a lot of good information. Plus, you can see your audio information, navigation, phone, and then customize your settings. This 4.2-inch screen is standard on every trim. And then up on the dash, Buick does give you some nicer soft material up here, if that even matters to you, but they also give you kind of some unique trim. So they made an effort to make this a little bit nicer than some, although it does still feel kind of cheap in here. Buick also gives you an 8-inch screen standard here, and it is slanted kind of up and away a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of, and it's surrounded by piano black plastic, which collects lint and fingerprints like crazy. With that aside, it's a very easy to use screen. This is an updated version over some of GM's older screens. You can have your own customizable user settings, which is pretty cool, and you can even move some of these things around like a phone. So I'm not going to do that, but you can reorganize things on here. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There's a few different settings you can customize. You have Wi-Fi on here, Amazon Alexa as well. And we don't have it, but you can get an optional 7-speaker Bose sound system. It does have a home button, volume knob, a couple seek buttons, and a back button, and then you have some shortcuts down here. So not a lot of physical buttons, but you do have some. And then as we come down to our climate controls, we have dual zone climate control in here. All the settings are easy to use, pretty well laid out right there. Dual zone is on the top 2 trims, but not the base model. And then we have our heated seat controls here, and like I said, no ventilated seats. Right down there you get a USB-C, regular USB, and a auxiliary port, plus a 12-volt power outlet. And then there's that wireless charging mat or storage bin right down there. And there are quite a few buttons right here. So first of all, you have your auto stop start button, your lane keeping system button, traction control, and then your parking assist and actual parking sonar. One complaint is that the bottle holders are really tight, so my bottle doesn't actually fit in here very well. It fits better in the door. You can actually manually shift your gears with this over here, go all the way down into the L, and you can shift on your own with that. We have an electronic parking brake, but no brake hold button, which is a little surprising. But it's nice to see this large storage bin right here, which actually has a rubber liner so things don't slide around. Then you have a little storage bin up here, or you can take this out and you have a really large deep storage bin down below. So even though this is a small vehicle, you still have storage cubby, cup holders, storage cubby, and a couple 2-tiered area in here. Plus you get a glove box. Of course, it is not lockable though, but it is decent size. Up above, we even get garage controls, which is a little bit surprising, but there's no sunglass holder up there. And look at this, even on a small vehicle, you've got large visors and the entire visor will slide out. And then up above, you will notice that we do not have a sunroof or moonroof, but a panoramic roof is optional. I want to make a quick note about the back seat. So as you can see, I have a car seat base right here for a rear-facing car seat, and this is just not a very family-friendly vehicle, especially with the car seat. I can't put it behind myself where I sit at 5'9", and when I put it behind the passenger seat, I've got to move that out of the way quite a ways, which renders it almost useless. Obviously, there's bigger vehicles, and that's not the primary use of this one, but you get this nice center folding armrest on everything except the base model. The base model doesn't give you this armrest with cup holders, but space-wise, it's really not too bad. There's actually a lot of foot space underneath of the seats, and knee space is good enough to where I can sit behind myself and be just fine. And headroom is also very good. Plenty of room up above my head, so that's great. Buick did cheap out a little bit up here. You've got the hard plastic on the door, unlike the front, but you'll be happy to see that you got a 3-prong outlet and 2 USB charging ports right in front of you. As far as air conditioning vents, you'll have to rely on the ones in the front. And unlike some bigger crossovers, the seats do not slide forward and backwards, nor do they recline. All right, y'all, let's get going on a test drive. And in this test drive, I'm going to tell you what it's like to live with the GX and drive it on a daily basis, as well as the ride comfort, the noise, how it handles, what it's like with this turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. So right off the bat, I would say my first impression is that this is just a really nimble, small vehicle to toss around. Even though this is a little bit bigger than the regular Encore, it's still really nimble. So let's go ahead and get on it first. And this does have a CVT, so it's a continuous variable transmission. It doesn't have the same stepped gear system like a regular automatic, but it kind of mimicked a gear shift there. And it's been fairly responsive for the most part. There is a delay when you get on it right away before you get a little bit of power, but one thing about driving a turbo, well, that was really quick actually. Sometimes it's a little more delayed than others, but when you drive a turbo, you just put your foot down a little bit and it gives you a decent amount of power. And the amount of torque that this has, don't look at the horsepower numbers, the torque that this has is really good for this size of a vehicle too. So it's actually a little bit zippier, a little bit quicker and funner to drive around than you would probably expect for a small 3-cylinder turbo. Handling wise, it does feel almost a little touchy with the wheel. Like at high speeds, like interstate speeds, I feel like I'm making a little bit more corrections, little micro corrections than I would want. But the steering wheel is lightweight. It's easy to use, and around town, it's perfect. Parking, I was just in a parking lot a little bit ago, and it was just a quick little loop into a parking spot like nothing. So this thing is super friendly for small, compact, dense urban environments, especially with the camera, the 360 camera that you get, the parking assist for parallel perpendicular parking, this up here, another camera, and then both the driver and the passenger mirror can tilt when you go into reverse. So they'll tilt down so you can see like the curb next to you or whatever it may be. Now the auto stop start system kicked on. One complaint I have about driving this is that it's a very aggressive auto stop start. Even in the morning, right after I turn the car on, usually in most vehicles when the engine is not like totally warmed up yet, it doesn't engage the auto stop start. But in this one, it did it immediately. The very first time I came to a stop, like 10 seconds after I turned it on out of my driveway. So it's very aggressive, and sometimes when you let off the brake, it's delayed in restarting the car more than I would like. So I've pretty much always turned it off, but you can do what you want. Now, let me go ahead and get pedal down one more time, get a little listen and a feel. Okay, and it gets you up to speed fairly quickly. Certainly, probably more than many of you that are going to get this would expect it to do. The only complaint is that actual passing at highway speeds is a little bit underwhelming. It's not confidence inspiring, that's for sure, but it's probably good enough for most people and better than many smaller engines of the past. And in terms of ride comfort in here, this has a pretty short wheelbase. Vehicles that are small like this and not very long, there's not as much space between the front tires and the back tires to smooth out some bumps in the road. And on mostly smooth surfaces, this is very smooth and pretty silky. But when you get on a surface that's a little bit jittery or a little bit shaky with broken pavement, you really feel it in this Encore GX. And that's not to say that you don't in other vehicles of this size, but just something to note versus a larger vehicle, even a larger vehicle at the same price point, this is going to be a stiffer, bumpier, more jittery ride compared to those. But for the most part, it's been good. You have an independent suspension in the back, so that helps us with our handling and with the ride overall. So not too bad. This does also have the adaptive cruise control. Like I said, you have the lane keeping system that you can turn off or on down there. I'm going to turn the cruise on. It is not a true like lane centering cruise control system to where it's like an autonomous system. So if I drift, it'll kick me back over. and then it'll kind of kick me back over again. It's not like a proactive system. So, but as with any system, regardless, keep your hands on the wheel and make sure you're the one driving. On a day-to-day basis, living with it, I like how it has some storage cubbies. Everything is within reach, and there's nothing really complicated, overly complicated about it. I really like this mirror camera. I like the 360 camera on here. It's a very parking-friendly, city-friendly vehicle with a little bit of storage space. But now we are on a rougher road surface, and I have noticed a little bit of creaking from this pillar over here. I've tried to fiddle with the seat belt, and it seems to help a little bit, but it kind of comes and goes even if I'm holding on to it. Otherwise, it's been fairly solid in here, but on a rougher textured road like this, I put the head-up display down because the GoPro kind of fades out with the lights on there. But even with a road that's not a perfectly smooth road like this car, it vibrates enough to where the letters on the head-up display will vibrate as well, and it just makes it useless to where you can't use it on some surfaces. I just turned it on, and they are vibrating right now too, to where it's almost like a constant blur sometimes. But noise in here is about on par with a vehicle of this size. It's not bad, but it's not great either. But let's go ahead and wrap things up on this Encore GX. Now, to wrap things up on this 2020 Buick Encore GX, I like that Buick is offering something a little bit bigger than the regular Encore, and it's still fairly premium as far as the feature set that it has. And this one does have quite a few options, so $33,000 plus on this one. That does seem expensive for a vehicle of this size and not a particular luxury nameplate. But Buick still offers a lot, and there's a decent amount of space in here considering the size of the vehicle. So with all things considered, what do you think of the Buick Encore GX? I'm not a huge fan that they're 3-cylinder engines now, and it doesn't feel all that nice inside for the price, but there's still a lot of features and a lot of technology in this vehicle. Leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.